Let me begin with a question. What is the most important score your child will ever have? Is it their grades, their marks, IQ? Or is it something which we look at only when the child comes into the ICU? I'm a pediatric intensivist. My workplace, the ICU, where children come fighting for their lives. The ICU has taught me lessons no textbook ever did. I'd like to share 3 of them with you today. The first, an infant presented to us very sick, acidotic, in shock, previously completely well, no illness, no fever whatsoever. We did the usual thing. We resuscitated, we even dialyzed and stabilized. And then we noticed something striking. The little one had very darkly pigmented knuckles and a beefy red tongue. That got us thinking, could this be vitamin B12 deficiency? The levels returned almost undetectable, a rare but catastrophic presentation. With just 1 injection, the little one sat up just like a prince, as if nothing had happened. What went wrong? The mother then revealed to us she had recently switched to a vegan diet, guided by social media. But what she forgot was her breastfeeding infant was entirely dependent on her for certain essential micronutrients. That day, the ICU taught me a powerful lesson. A child can nearly die with an improper diet. Children need to eat, and what they eat matters. The second story. 2 adolescent boys presented to us in the ICU with severe dengue, both at the same time with the same diagnosis, same labs, platelets, receiving the same treatment. But the outcomes were completely different. The first one had a smooth course, was discharged within a couple of days, whereas the second child was obese. He went on to respiratory support, had a complicated ICU stay, and discharged after a long time. The difference: the first played basketball every day. The second played on his console. That day, I learned something very simple. Physical fitness is not optional. It is mandatory for a child's resilience. Children need play. The third story is of a teenager who was rushed in from school by her teachers. She was gasping for breath and her parents looked devastated. She was tachycardic, her pulse rate was high, her breathing was high, but her heart and lung function were completely normal. She was hyperventilating, an anxiety episode. When we dug deep, we found her entire life had shrunk to merely a tab, 4 walls in her room, and isolation. No friends, no family conversations, no anchors. That day, the ICU taught me what we rarely acknowledge. Loneliness and depression can present desperately as breathlessness. Children need to connect with themselves, the people around them, and nature. 3 children, 3 emergencies, 1 lesson learned. How children eat, play, and connect is not lifestyle advice. It is life support. It is what I call lifestyle quotient. Way back in 2014, I stopped asking the question, how do we treat this? Instead, I began to ask, why did this happen? That led to the birth of SETME, Student Empowerment Through Medical Education, under which we started the Eat, Play, Connect, Write workshops. So what did we do? We didn't go to parents. We directly went to students. We spoke to them in their schools, their colleges, educational institutes, and various community centers. We connected with them, sharing real ICU stories and science. and the children listened. We then went a step further. We surveyed 1,100 families and asked the parents about how their children would eat, play, and connect. We gave a score to each of the 20 questions. And finally, every child got a composite score called the lifestyle quotient score as a percentage. We then grouped them into the red, orange, or green zone. They were in the red zone when the percentage was less than 60. When it was above 84%, it was the green zone, and orange in between. And do you know what? The results were pretty scary. Only 7.3% of them belonged to the green zone. More than 30% belonged to the red zone, requiring urgent lifestyle interventions. Lifestyle diseases no longer belong to adults. They occur in childhood. The facts then became very clear to us. Our children are overfed and undernourished. 1 in 10 children across the globe is either obese or overweight. 1 in 10 children are pre-diabetic in India, and 1 in 3 of them have abnormal lipids. We are looking at lifestyle diseases starting in childhood. So what did we do? We shared our findings across various media. And what did we teach these children? We taught them something very simple: how to eat right. When they sit in front of their lunch boxes or their plates, half their plate to be fruit and veggies, only quarter the grains and quarter proteins, and a cup of dairy. We told them that the grains need to be whole grains because that's where the fiber and the nutrients live. We asked them to choose millets. We told them to eat proteins as much as they eat the grains and to choose plant-based lean protein. We even told them to eat veggies of different groups in various shapes and sizes in whatever form they want. We asked them to eat fruits fresh or dry, but not as fruit juices, but as fruit smoothies. And finally, to finish their lunch plate with a cup of freshly made curds, probiotic rich, good for their gut. But what do children in India eat? Primarily white food, starting from idli, dosa, white rice, milk, etc. These are the 5 white ingredients most of our plates are filled with. They are nutrient poor and fiberless. Iron is low in these foods. No wonder in India, 1 in 2 children are iron deficient. So what we need is to fill a rainbow on their plate, which is nutrient dense. We also spoke to children about junk food. We asked them to think that salt and sugar is the new tobacco. And just like what tobacco does, it disrupts the metabolism and the hormones. Today, these salt and sugar-rich foods are encroaching into our dining tables. The lovely packaged foods we get with the luring adverts actually have dangerously deceptive labels. They are filled with saturated fat, salt, sugar, and the processing adds on dangerous additives and preservatives. We made these children think. We spoke to them that junk food is beyond cultural barriers. For example, a traditional puri palya, where the puri is deep fried and oily and eaten without vegetables, is junk as compared to a freshly baked pizza made of whole grain and loaded with veggies. Children began to listen and understand. It's not just what they eat which is important, it is how they eat. Let me ask you a question. How many of you ate in front of the screen last night? Please raise your hands. That's right. Do you know what it does to children when they eat in front of screens? Well, the screen acts like a hypnosis. It makes them choose food that is not right. It pushes them towards sedentary behavior and pushes them towards obesity and type 2 diabetes. It works on their mind. Children need to eat around the dining table. Screen eating blunts their satiety center. We also spoke about how to play right, not just gadget play, But play outdoors, at least 1 hour of physical play is required for these children. Because movement is not optional. Movement, like medicine, is required, and it works only when taken regularly. We told them about how to connect right, connect with themselves through mindful activities like yoga and meditation, and most importantly, adequate sleep. Connect with the people around them, their family and friends on a daily basis, and connect with nature, what I call vitamin N. The children didn't just listen. They engaged, they made slogans, they made posters and clay models. But the most beautiful thing of it all was when we received the feedback from the parents. We received pictures of their colorful lunchboxes filled with nutrients. The children changed, their families changed, and something else happened. I changed. I became more mindful, connected, active, and intentional. Today, in our clinic, screening for lifestyle quotient is a regular because we believe that the most important score in a child's life is not about how successful their career would be. It's about how well they live. Because a child's lifestyle doesn't just influence their health, it programs it. And the most beautiful part, it is not fixed. It can be changed any day, starting from today. Eat, play, connect right. Thank you for your attention.